With an eye on the upcoming Lok Sabha elections, the Union Cabinet has approved reservation of up to 10% for economically backward upper caste and minorities. The reservation will be for central government jobs as well as for educational institutions. Now, those with an income of 8 lakh rupees per annum would be eligible for benefit. Remember, all of this is source-based information. This is as per decision taken by the Union Cabinet this afternoon. According to census conducted in 2011, around 31% of our population belongs to the upper caste. According to sources, the government will move a bill to amend Articles 15 and 16 of the Constitution to implement the 10% reservation for economically weaker sections in the general category. The Constitution right now permits reservation of only up to 50%. Tomorrow is the last day of the current Parliament session, with just 90 days to go for the general elections. How will this move play out? Can the Constitution be amended within a period of this time? How will the judiciary react to this move, if at all someone does decide to move the Supreme Court? We'll be joined by a panel of experts in just a bit. But here's a look at all the political reactions that have come in Think It Fast this morning.
ये तो आपको मालूम है कि 50 सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जजमेंट है कि 50% के बियॉन्ड नहीं आ सकते हैं, तो इसलिए जरा उनका देख तो लें कि कहां से किस तरह का संशोधन ला।
आर्थिक स्थिति सुधारने के लिए आरक्षण नहीं है। आर्थिक स्थिति से अगर उसको ठीक करना था तो नरेंद्र मोदी जी को बोलते ना, भाई 15-15 लाख रुपए हर एक के खाते में डाल दीजिए, हर देश के हर लोगों को मिल जाता और 2 करोड़ नौजवानों को रोजगार दे देते।
नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने कहा था कि देश का विकास 56 इंच के सीने वाला ही कर सकता है, और उस 56 इंच के सीने वाले ने इस देश के विकास करके बता दिया कि अपना हित मत सोचो, सबका साथ और सबका विकास सोचो।
This government at the fag end of its tenure trying to do whatever it wants to do to promote its own agenda, हिंदुत्व एजेंडा।
पूर्व बनाने की बात जानते हैं, 50% से ज्यादा आरक्षण होने चाहिए।
संवैधानिक संशोधन करेंगे,
संविधान में संशोधन करें, कैसे हो जाएगा संविधान में संशोधन?
कहा जा रहा है कल ही आएगा राज्यसभा और लोकसभा।
चलिए आने दो यार, कुछ अभी है उसे तो कर नहीं पा रहे।
कितना ही शीर्षासन कर लें, कितने ही जुमले गढ़ लें, अब मोदी जी को कोई भी आसन जो है पदच्युत होने से नहीं बचा सकता है।
मुझे खुशी है कि हमारी आज की सरकार ने कम से कम ये फैसला लिया। अब मुझे नहीं लगता कि इस पे कोई राजनीति होनी चाहिए, कम से कम इस फैसले की इसकी शुरुआत हुई है।
ये एसटी एससी और ओबीसी के सामने एक सवर्णों का एक मोर्चा तैयार करने का एक राजनीतिक साजिश है।
विशेष सत्र बुलाए सरकार, हम सरकार का साथ देंगे और फिर सभी पार्टियों का समर्थन जुटाकर इस बिल को पास कराया जाए।
We have to abolish caste system as a matter of fact. We are for that. If any person who is economically backward is being supported with the help by the government, it must be welcome. There's no doubt on that at all.
In my opinion, I would object to it, saying that Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Muslims, Christians, they are not entitled to reservation because they were ruling class.
ये मैं समझता हूँ कि सरकार का निर्णय जो है गलत निर्णय है।
सामान्य वर्ग को न्याय देने के लिए 10% आरक्षण देने का जो फैसला किया है, मैं इसका हृदय से स्वागत करता हूँ।
Will this indeed be a game changer or a master stroke, as the government claims? Joining us now to discuss this further, Ghanshyam Tiwari, spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, Gopal Krishna Agarwal, spokesperson of the BJP, Kancha Elaya, author, Lalit Shastri, founder of Sampak Samaj, Nawab Malik, spokesperson of the Nationalist Congress Party, the NCP, and Raghav Chadda, spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party. Gentlemen, appreciate you joining us here on the program. Let me go across to the BJP spokesperson first. Gopal Krishna Agarwal, Yashwant Sinha tweeting saying the proposal to give 10% reservation to economically weaker upper caste is nothing more than a jumla. It's bristling with legal complications and there is no time for getting it passed through both houses of parliament. The government stands completely exposed. If this is what you wanted, why did you wait not just till the end of your tenure but till the very last day of this parliament session to clear this proposal by the Union Cabinet?
No, but the issue is, the thing is that if you say that in the last 5th year of the government cannot take any decision or should not take any decision, then this is not the right way. Ultimately, in the last 1 year of its tenure, the government will take decisions and they have to be implemented and isolated cannot take it. This is the step which the government has taken for the
No,
weaker
Gopal
sections
Krishna
of the
Agarwal.
society.
Mr. Agarwal, no one is suggesting that the government should not be able to take decisions. This is a decision that requires a constitutional amendment. You will have to amend Article 15 and 16 for this decision to be able to go through. Yet you choose to bring it in on the last day of Parliament. Whether you move the bill tomorrow or not is a question mark. This will require both two-thirds majority of both houses to vote on it. Where is the question of discussion, debate for this kind of a proposal to pass muster, to go through Parliament even?
No, but you, as I told you, that we have been doing so many activities or policies and decisions for the weaker section of the society, and this is a continuous process. And this was intention of the government that the weaker sections of the society should be benefited at all levels, whether it is through Ujjwala Yojana or whether it is providing houses
but
to
is
the
this
weaker
any
sections.
no but Mr. Agarwal, before I get the other panelists in on this, Mr. Agarwal, before I get other panelists on this, my simple question to you is so you're saying that this is about expressing your intent. You're not that worried about its execution, whether or not it will finally be executed in this tenure of the government, but you're expressing your intent. Is that what you're saying?
Intent, and what is the fine print that when the cabinet will come out with the press note or their briefing, then only we will know. But as far as party is concerned, we welcome, and this has been the desire of everybody. There was a discussion on this issue that weaker sections or economically weaker sections of the other caste, which are as considered higher upper caste, they should also be benefited. So this is what the intention of the government is manifested through this, and we appreciate that. But finer print, how it will be implemented, what will be the opposition stand on it, these things are continuous process, and as the time proceeds, we are implementing and moving in a direction which is for the weaker sections of the society.
Okay, let me bring in the other panelists in on this conversation. Ghanshyam Tiwari, a lot of people who are watching this move by the government suggest that this is on account of expectations of a setback in UP and Bihar, and possibly to try and mitigate some of that risk. If we were to look at the caste calculus, upper caste 16% in Uttar Pradesh, other backward caste about 44%, scheduled caste 21%, scheduled tribe 0.8%. Bihar, the caste calculus, upper caste 17%, other backward castes about 51%, scheduled caste and scheduled tribe both together about 18-odd%. Ghanshyam Tiwari, as I started by asking, do you believe that this could be a game changer potentially for the BJP? Ghanshyam? Ghanshyam, can you hear me? Okay, we'll get back.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead, Ghanshyam.
Yes, I believe that
Ghanshyam,
this is
go ahead. I was asking you if you believe that this is going to be a potential game changer.
This is an insincere attempt which shows a headline-grabbing intent, and there is no thorough research and effort that the government has put in to build consensus. We have always maintained that the government has data through census and other means to be able to provide proportionate opportunities to a diverse country like India. But instead of thinking in a logical manner or in a policy manner, the government has thought in a manner by which it can grab headlines, create something that will never be implemented, and still use this as a political propaganda.
But you might call it an insincere attempt, and there are question marks on its implementation. But Ghanshyam Tiwari, with this move, do you believe the government has been able to reclaim some of the lost narrative?
I'm sorry, your words not clear on my end, but I'd like to summarize my response simply by saying that this government, even if you pick up newspapers of today, there is no intent that this government has shown to be able to build consensus on something like this. But the hasty response of this government on such an idea demonstrates that, one, this government is suddenly unsure about its employment schemes, And for 4 years, you said that the government has not focused on employment generation. The government said that look at Mudra loan, we have focused on employment generation. Suddenly, this is also an admission that the government doesn't have failed on the employment side. As a result, BJP is falling back to its core agenda, which is divide and rule. So they believe that just with one idea on reservation, they will be able to divide the backward, the poor into two different categories and win a vote bank somewhere within.
Okay, so you believe that this is part of the divide and rule strategy of the BJP. I'll come back to you, but let me go across to Nawab Malik, spokesperson of the NCP. Nawab Malik, might be an insincere attempt. We don't know how the mechanics are eventually going to work out. But the question that I put to Ghanshyam Tiwari, I'll get your response as well. Do you believe that with this move, they have been able to reclaim some of the narrative? Will it work for them in states like UP, where they're up against the SP-BSP combined now?
Whether they have taken this decision for political benefit, they have to reply. But the decision they have made regarding...
Nawab Malik, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir,
Hello?
I can.
See, they have to reply.
Loud and clear, sir, go ahead.
They have to reply whether this decision they had made for political benefit or giving benefit on the basis of economics to the poor in upper caste. They have to reply. As far as reservation is concerned, to poor in upper caste, we are not opposing it. But the limit, they have decided for 8 lakh rupees per annum income. Definitely, it will not benefit to the poor in upper caste. The well-settled people will get benefit of it. If they are going to make constitutional amendments in the parliament, they have to amend the constitution along with Maratha reservation. They have to amend the constitution along with Patel reservation, Jat reservation. All this should be included along with the 10% reservation for upper caste as on the basis of economic condition, and limit should be reduced.
Okay. So, will you support, if the government were to move this bill tomorrow, will you support it? What is the position of the NCP?
NCP will definitely support it, but conditionally, the Marathas, Patels and Jats should be included during the amendment separately. What the quota has been decided by the various states, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Haryana and Rajasthan. The amendment should be that along with the upper caste reservation. And the limit of creamy layer, it should be reduced.
Okay, the limit of the creamy layer should be reduced and the NCP will support this bill. But do you believe that it's likely that this bill will go through, that the amendments are likely to go through even if the parliament session were to be extended?
Let us see how they draft the bill. What is the condition is there into it? Let us see what is the bill. After going through the bill, we will decide.
Okay.
But we are asking the government, while moving an amendment to the constitution, you amend for this Marathas, Patels and Jats also.
Jats also. Okay. So your support is conditional in that sense. Raghav Chadda, what is the position of the Aam Aadmi Party? Your chief minister has said that if the government is serious, it should bring the bill in parliament, and all indications suggest that the government intends doing that tomorrow.
You see, we firmly believe that in order to bring 10% reservation, as the government seems to be proposing, there needs to be a constitutional amendment, because there are various Supreme Court judgments as well as constitutional foundations on increasing the total percentage of reservation. So first of all, the government needs to follow a process of bringing in a constitutional amendment and then bring in a bill to include 10% reservation. We believe that it is legally impossible for this government to bring in a constitutional amendment, get it passed, as well as bring in a bill to support this and get that cleared too before 26th of May 2019. This is effectively, for all practical purposes, the last session of the parliament before the general elections. There will be a 3-day session after this in the month of end of February or early March, where a vote of account will be prepared and presented in both houses. and followed by the general election. So for all practical purposes, this is the last parliament session of the Modi government. After that, there will be the general election. So legally, I don't see this happening. This is only political posturing and gimmickry by this government. If they were serious, if they actually wanted to do this, if they had this in their list of to-do items, then this would have been something that they should have done on day one, in the first parliament session, in the second parliament session, or perhaps in the second or the third year of the government. But not Raghav, on the last day of the last session.
And Raghav, there might be there are legitimate questions on whether this bill can go through, because it does require a constitutional amendment within the tenure of this government. So you're right on that front. But even if one were to assume that this becomes like an election manifesto, like an election promise, can it swing things in favor of the BJP, especially in the crucial states of UP, Bihar, etc., which is where they anticipate possibly the setbacks?
Well, I personally believe that the people of India are far too clever to, fall prey to this gimmickry of the Bharatiya Janata Party. They know that, time and again, BJP has tried doing this right before the elections. If they actually had the intention of doing this, this should have been, this should have happened and seen the light of the day in the first 6 months of the Modi government. They've not done that in 4 years and 9 months of their being in office. In the last 3 months, they want to do all of this. I think people are far too clever fall prey to this. They can see through this political gimmickry and posturing, and moreover, I think this also reflects that this government, the Modi government, has realized that they have the people who voted for Mr. Modi in 2014 with a lot of hope do not see Mr. Modi returning back and do not see Mr. Modi coming back to office and don't see him as the hope of India, and therefore they are trying everything to retain their vote bank, trying everything to woo the voters, and it essentially shows their insecurity.
Okay, Kancha Elaila, I'd like you to comment. Raghav Chadda there, representing the Aam Aadmi Party, says this is pre-election gimmickry, it's political posturing, it will not work, the Indian voter will see through this.
Yeah. See, the point is that 10% reservation based on economic criteria is welcome. And if this can undo the 50% cap in the Supreme Court, the Mandal judgment cap, that's welcome. But the question is, where is the time for this? What kind of modality that this government wants to adopt? Now, almost the session is coming to an end, and next parliament session is only on vote on account. They have seen that the certain sections of upper caste are dead against them on 2-3 other questions. One is that the Patels, Marathas, Gujars and Jats, which are the largest Shudras of North India, are going against BJP. They want to take them inside. But how do you do it? You have to do it in a manner that is sustainable in law. And now this gesture does not have any systematic plan to sustain it and then take the whole thing to a logical end. That doesn't seem to be possible now. That is the main issue. Secondly, there are a number of states, for example, Telangana has been asking for increase in the SC, OBC reservation itself, because after the division of states, the population ratio has gone up. And there are several states that are in that list. Now, how do they accommodate them? What do they do? Do they put it in 9th schedule? Or do they amend 15th or 16th? 15th, 16th amendment does not withstand the Supreme Court scrutiny because you have to take it to the 9th schedule, which I don't think the present government is willing, because Prime Minister himself said that how can we do when there is 50% cap on reservation? He said that in Gujarat, he said that in Maharashtra, he said that many places, and then then now they come up with this program. I don't know what is the direction and intent.
Well, we're all looking for details which are not available at this point in time. All we know is that this has been a decision that has been cleared by the Union Cabinet, and everything that we have so far is as per source-based information. How do they intend to define EWS, the economically weaker section category? Annual income below 8 lakhs, agricultural land below 5 hectares, a residential house below 1,000 square foot, residential plot below 109 yards in a notified municipality, a residential plot below 209 yards in a non-unified municipality. But these, again, as I pointed out, we don't have the fine print of what the government intends to table, if at all they intend to move that bill in Parliament tomorrow. Lalit Shastri, what would you make of this decision of the Union Cabinet and the challenges that the government is likely to face?
Yeah, the Union Cabinet decision today is like a knee-jerk reaction, especially after the BJP lost power in 3 Hindi heartland states of Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. And it has to be understood that there has been a massive agitation and a people's movement in Madhya Pradesh right since 2016 onwards. And the people, especially from the unreserved category, the minorities, they have been up in arms against the ruling BJP in particular, and every other political party that has supported the reservation regime as it has existed till now. If we have to analyze today's decision, particularly I feel it is too little and too late. And why I say it is too little, because there has been a demand that reservation should not be on caste lines. The global order today is entirely on economic lines, and reservation should be on economic basis. But what they have announced and decided today is giving 10% reservation to the economically deprived among the unreserved, so-called upper castes and the minorities. The big question is, when you have reservation for the SC, STs and the OBCs on the basis of their percentage of population, here it is only 10%. So there's going to be a lot of heartburn among those who would be left out from this reservation regime, because either it should be across the board. That would be social justice. When I say across the board, the economic basis should be the basis. And definitely, anybody who's from the SC, ST or OBCs who's economically backward comes within the reservation regime if we allow that. And the 50% reservation, which the Supreme Court has set in a cap of 50% reservation. There are some states which have exceeded it. For example, in Maharashtra recently, when they gave it to the Marathas, and in Tamil Nadu also. Now, this is going to be a complex issue if the government of India, the present regime, they decide to put it in the 9th schedule to avoid the judicial review. But that avoiding of judicial review is also not watertight. And as we have seen in the Indra Sahni case, the basic constitution, the spirit of the constitution, besides the letter, will be always open for review for the Supreme Court. So what I feel is the implementation of whatever, whether it gets passed by both houses, what we have seen is the SC/ST Atrocities Act, the way it was amended. Now, it is like the Modi government would think that it's like a stalemate for all other parties, because if they oppose, they will be in a tight corner. This is strategy of the BJP, which is already against the wall on issues like the SC/ST Atrocities Act, because that is something that has already divided the society. So everybody from the unreserved category are going to view this decision today as something too little and too late. And it won't deliver them the political, I would say, the political fruits that they would expect in the coming election.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you believe that unlike what the BJP hopes, they are unlikely to reap the benefits of this announcement. Of course, implementation and execution is fraught with legal challenges if they do indeed decide to go through with it. And it's also fraught with challenges to be able to muster support in Parliament. Remember, we're talking about a constitutional amendment. This is not just an ordinary bill that the government hopes to move. Forget judicial scrutiny, which is another matter altogether. Not enough time. Last last session of Parliament. Will they manage to grant an extension, get an extension and move the bill tomorrow? As I said, very, very sketchy headlines. Have they been able to reclaim some sort of the narrative, political narrative at this point in time? That's certainly the hope. But for this evening, Kancha Elaya, Lalit Shastri, Nawab Malik, Ghansham Tiwari, Gopal Agarwal, appreciate you joining us here on CNBC TV 18.